I always get a ton of questions on my thoughts on brow lamination and what to do if your brows grow down. Before I get into it, I just want to say I know that my opinion on this and expertise on this is going to ruffle some feathers. At the end of the day, they're your brows. You get to do what you want for them. This is just my opinion and my expertise being in this field. First, let's get into who brow lamination is not for. This is not a service that is for everyone. And I personally think that about 80% too many people are getting this done, and it's really not for everyone. It's a trend. So keep that in mind. If you know me and follow me, you know that I don't think that your brows should ever be a trend. One, if your brows grow downward, imagine your brows are like a tree. Okay, and you have these branches, and you've got a branch that grows down, and you've got a branch that goes out, and you've got a branch that grows up. If your brows grow down, what happens whenever you do a brow lamination is you're gonna see all of these J hooks, or these like little backward C's, because you have this branch that's connected to this tree. And in order for that to go up, it's not just gonna go straight up, or else it'd break off, and that can happen too. So in order for it to go up, it has to hook around and then go up. The reason why I don't recommend this is, one, I don't really like seeing a lot of those. And really, I mean, most people don't have all brows that grow down. They've got just maybe a few, 10, 20, and it's not every hair that you're gonna see a J hook, unless you do have more that do grow down. With that too, is you're just going so drastically against your natural brow. And if you know me as well, you know that I like to stay close to your natural brow because that's always best. Number two, if your brows are really coarse in hair, they're going to look spiky and just not soft as what they could if you embraced a tint and wax for your natural shape. A brow lamination, if your brows are really thick and coarse in hair follicle, they will look spiky. And again, that's just not a very natural look that I don't care for, and I think that there's a better way. The other one, this one is coarse and it's really tightly trimmed. I'm gonna show you what happens whenever you over trim a brow lamination. We do brow laminations. I'm not like completely against them. We do brow laminations in my studios. If we can avoid trimming them, we do. And if we do trim, we never tightly trim with that, because imagine your hair is like solid wet. Whenever your hair is wet, it's longer, right? That hair for your brow lamination is slicked straight to your skin. It's really long because it's straight and slick. Then in about a week from now, that hair is going to bounce back up and it's going to relax. And then that tightly trimmed brow is going to shrink downward. And all of a sudden, you're going to see all this choppy layers from what did look good for about 3 to 4 days, and then come about a week after. If you have ever had this happen, you know what I'm talking about. All right, next for who should not be getting a brow lamination: thick brows. Her brows are so thick. The point, in my opinion, of getting a brow lamination is not so much to tame the hairs, it is to enhance the shape and thickness of your brow. That's why too many people, I think, are getting them done, is because they're using it to tame their hairs, when in taming their hairs just doesn't look natural in general. And again, there's a better way. I'll get to that. When your brows are thick like this is what will happen in the brow lamination. And now all of a sudden the artist is like, oh my gosh, I have to overcompensate now. And look how thin she has over-waxed and trimmed her brows, because now they're laying flat. This is what happens. That's what I'm talking about, is they lay really long because they're laying nice and flat. So she had to overcompensate and had to remove so much. And now she has really thin brows. And this is so drastic of a difference from her natural shape. If she were to embrace her natural shape and just remove a tiny bit and enhance it, it would be best for her face. This is way too drastic for it. So if you have thick brows, you don't need a brow lamination. And this is what I'm suggesting. So the stunning client, she has thick, more boxy brows, okay? We can't control how elongated our brows are. She has beautiful, she's stunning in general, but beautiful thick brows. This is her after. We're keeping them her natural shape. We're enhancing what she has naturally, because what she has naturally is beautiful. And I find with brow lamination, it's not enhancing what you have naturally. It's hiding what you have naturally. It's squashing what you have naturally. It's drastically changing what you have naturally. Embrace what you have naturally for your brows. This is just a tint and wax. And real quick, this is a client that came in, she got a brow lamination elsewhere, and then they over trimmed her brows. So you can see right by her arch, they're not even. So nice and trimmed here because those still grow up, but then the ones that are being more relaxed by the brow lamination, they are now too short, and then some that are too long, because you're not cutting your hair evenly when they're you are cutting your hair like evenly whenever they're nice and laminated, but then when they relax, they bounce back and move in different areas. So it was just over trimmed too much, so avoid doing that. So what I suggest is finding someone, and if you are a brow artist, please start putting into practice mastering a classic tint and wax. In my opinion, it's just what everyone needs to enhance their natural shape. All of these you can see that they have hairs that are curly, that grow downward, that grow dense to the side. You can see how beautiful they are with just a tint and wax. We don't need to do drastic things. I get all the time, but my brows grow down. Like, you're probably talking about 10 hairs maybe, not a lot. All we have to do is clean up a tiny bit of hair with waxing and teach you properly, that's where I come in, how to fill them in. I find that we're all drastically doing these things to our brows because we haven't been properly taught how to fill in our brows. And also, we're not doing a proper tint and wax because we all know someone or have been someone where we've been overwaxed, tinted too dark, and then also we've been shown how to fill them in with way too much makeup. So we are completely resetting the things that we have thought about brows. Again, more classic tint and wax, which is a tiny bit of makeup. You can see the bottom one, the majority of her brows grow downward. All I did was a tiny bit of cleanup with wax. I did tint them. Even though your brows are black, please tint them. Just try it once, I promise. I did tint them, and then also I did put a little bit of gel. Notice that, no, I don't want her brows ever to go upward. And her brows are still growing downward, but in a more manicured and polished way that's not covering her arch. It's okay if your brows grow downward. You just need to know how to brush them and get a proper tint and wax. Now, who is a brow lift for? One, the top one. If you have microblading, 50-50. If you have thin brows and microblading, give it a shot. For clients that have been coming in, so the one at the bottom, I've been doing her brows for a while, and we're just like, hey, let's give it a shot, let's try it. And she gets her brow lift like once or twice a year. Her brows look great without it, her brows look great with it. The middle one, her brows are really thin. She over-tweezed them in the 90s, and they thicken them back up to where her natural brows were prior to her over-tweezing them. Back to the top one. This is what is happening. You were over-tweezing in the 90s, so then you follow that trend. You over-tweezed in the 90s and 2000, and then you follow another trend and you get a tattoo on your face, microblading. And then that doesn't solve your problem. So then you follow another trend and you get microblading. So again, you're seeing the way I'm thinking here, no more following trends. I do think what it does with microblading is it allows your brows to show up a little bit more, but also a tint and trim would do the same. Hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't shoot the messenger. It's just my opinion on this, that I don't think it's for everyone. And I really do think that so many people would benefit if they had the opportunity to see how beautiful their brows were with a simple tint and trim and the tiny bit of makeup, if even that is needed.